My name is Jackson Fox, and I'm the head boys and girls cross country and track and field coach at Catholic Central High School, along with the West Michigan Harriers. Today we're going to be exploring goal setting through the lens of cross country, and certainly you can apply these same ideas to setting goals for track and field or other sports or whatever setting you're involved in. Our focus will be on seasonal goals, which could be considered long-term goals or short-term goals depending on the length of your season. I like to think of goals as a destination for a trip, or possibly the goal consists of all the things that we'd like to accomplish on a trip for that given destination. We're probably all aware that most things don't go exactly according to plan, and that's why I like to use this 3-tier goal setting system. I didn't come up with this myself. I actually got this from another coach at a clinic, and I forget the coach that shared this information. If I had their name, I would definitely give them credit for it, but I think it's a really good system to use when you're setting goals individually or working with a coach to set goals. So the 3-tier system consists of a primary goal, a secondary goal, and an ultimate goal. The primary goal is our main goal that we're working towards accomplishing at the end of the respective season. It's typically based on our progression of race performances over time. So we might be looking at how we performed as a freshman versus a sophomore versus a junior to help identify what our primary goal is going into our senior year. This is something that we can realistically attain, and it's a goal that we can accomplish even if we experience minor disruptions in our training. The secondary goal I consider a backup goal. It's something that you'd be satisfied with if the primary goal is not met by the end of the season or achieved. And generally, we revert to the secondary goal if we experience major disruptions to our training or we have setbacks that influences our training and we can't quite make it to our goal. And again, it's something we'll be satisfied at the end of the season if we don't accomplish that primary goal. And then last, we have the ultimate goal. This is sometimes referred to as a stretch goal. So in other words, if everything goes perfect during the season, this is something that you could accomplish by the end of the season. Let's take a look at an example. Let's just say that I'm a high school senior male cross-country runner. I have a PR from my freshman year of 16:59. I finished 122nd at the state meet. That PR doesn't necessarily have to be at the state meet, but I finished 122nd at that meet regardless of time. My sophomore year, I had a PR of 16:13, and I did not qualify for the state finals. My junior year, I had a PR of 15:45, and I finished 76th at the state meet. And also during my junior year of track, I had a breakout season where I ran a 4:25 for the 1600 meter, and then also a 9:22 for the 3200 meter run, and was 10th in the state at the 3200 meter run. So these are the parameters that I'm working with. This is what I've done over time, and I'm going to use these to base the goals that I'm going to set for my cross-country goals going into this fall. Now, one thing I'll say with cross-country goals is I typically tend to focus on a finishing place in specific races rather than times, because so much can vary from course to course, and depending on the weather conditions, the temperature, how wet or saturated the course is, how slow the course is running, and all kinds of other things can be major factors with this. So in the situation that I gave, or the example that I gave in the previous slide, my primary goal might be to finish in the top 30 at the state meet and earn all state honors. My secondary goal might be to finish in the top 50 at the state meet. And then my ultimate goal might be to finish in the top 10 at the state meet and earn all state honors. Now that I have my goals set, we want to make sure that these goals appear to be realistic and achievable for us. So we might want to go out and do some research. So we might want to look at the last 4 or 5 years at the state meet. What did it typically take to finish top 30 at the state meet? Maybe that time is 16 flat. So that means I have to be able to achieve a 16 flat in terms of a time or an effort at the state meet in order to be in the top 30. To be in the top 50 at the state meet, maybe that takes a time or an effort of about 16:15 for a 5K in order to finish in the top 50. And then maybe for the top 10, it takes about a 15:30 to finish in the top 10 typically at the state meet, or an effort that's fairly close to that. So once we've done our research and we say, yeah, we believe that these are achievable for us as an individual, your next step is to consult with your coach and make sure that they understand what your goals are so they can help you achieve them. And then finally, we need to take ownership as an athlete in the process, and we need to make sure that we are doing things that helps lead towards helping us achieve these goals. So again, if the goal is your destination, the training plan is the map to help you get there, and your coach can help inform what your training plan is going to look like in order to get there over that period of time. And then what we actually do in terms of training will increase the likelihood of us achieving those goals, and what we don't do will decrease the likelihood of us achieving those goals. So we need to make sure that we're taking ownership and showing up to practice, giving appropriate efforts for each and every practice that we have. And then finally, during the season, you can track your progress towards achieving those goals. Now, typically what I'll do with my athletes is during the season, we'll pick specific benchmark races where we've run the same course year after year. For example, in Michigan, we use the Portage Invite as one of those invitationals where we can compare our performance over the past 2, 3, or 4 years. And we'll not only look at time where we are this year in terms of the previous years, but we'll also look at our finishing place, and we'll use that in order to track and see if we're on pace to achieving those goals. And then finally, I want to say with goals, sometimes we do have to make adjustments. Even though we have a primary goal, a secondary goal, and an ultimate goal, we may, for example, achieve our primary goal really early. If we have a time goal, we may want to adjust that. Now, if we have a place goal and it's specific to the state meet, obviously the primary goal isn't going to change. But if we're running much better than what we are, maybe we elevate the ultimate goal to our primary goal and then adjust that ultimate goal for what that might be at the state finals. So I think goals, number one, we should set early in the season, because again, this is what we're hoping to achieve, or our destination for the season. And then what we do is during the summer and during the season is what we are going to, or what's going to help us achieve those goals by the end of the season. And most importantly, don't forget to consult with your coach and share these goals with them so they can help you in the process. So good luck this season, and hopefully this helps you out with setting goals.